Mr. Lad McConkey of the Los Angeles Chargers. He's actually down 4.4 spots, 87.7. Was a little dinged up so far in this preseason training camp. Anthony, what are we making of this Chargers wide receiver core here?
Well, let's start here. Justin Herbert, the last time I saw, I believe he's still in kind of a boot or a cast, whatever, in the lower body. I would hope that's going to be shed soon. Otherwise, all of my Lad McConkey takes go down the drain, but I anticipate Justin Herbert being on the field. Lad McConkey is one of my more rostered players in fantasy this offseason. I'm going to continue to take him. He can play in the slot. He can play the outside. There's not a lot of competition. I get people like Josh Palmer, but Josh Palmer has had opportunities without Allen and without Mike Williams in the past 2 seasons, and he hasn't really been anything than a high floor play. This is going to be an offense to where I think we're going to see DJ Chark, McConkey, and Palmer possibly in 3 wide sets. So this is really Lad McConkey's job to lose when it comes to earning the #1 target share in this offense. I think there's going to be more passing volume in this offense for Lad McConkey. I get what the Chargers want to do. I get what Greg Roman and Harbaugh want to do. I don't think they have the personnel to play good defense and run the football. This is probably going to be a team that's going to have to throw to stay in games, and there's more opportunities for Lad. And talk about vacated targets. When you look at Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, there's a lot of vacated targets in this offense. So, I just prefer Lad McConkey over Josh Palmer because there's a little bit of an unknown here, right? Again, I already know what Josh Palmer can and can't do and hasn't done. I don't know that about Lad McConkey yet, and we're not paying a premium for Lad McConkey either. All things considered, I think he's going at a pretty decent value, 87.7 ADP, and I think Josh Palmer's going maybe in the hundreds. So, I don't mind paying up around 15 spots to get the rookie who, at worst, he's just another high floor guy like Palmer. I just, maybe there is ceiling there because I certainly have not seen ceiling with Josh Palmer.
Steve, did you have something on this or?
Yeah, Lad McConkey is one of my favorite prospects coming out. I think it was a smash pick by the Chargers. Again, I thought that the Niners should have took him over Pearsall. Or Ricky Pearsall, as go check that clip back on the YouTube. Old classic.
Enrico Palazzo, yes.
Enrico Palazzo. I'm gonna have to retweet that baby pretty soon. But yeah, I like Lad McConkey. Herbert, they're supposed to give him the boot for 2 weeks, see how he feels with that plantar fasciitis. We don't know the true severity of it. I guess there's grades to it. Listening to an interview with Stephania Bell, she was mentioning that it could be really bad. It could be, not so bad. So we don't really know so much. I kind of had hopes a little bit for Herbert running a little bit more in this Greg Roman system, but I don't even know if we're going to see that. That kind of takes that away now with this injury. But yeah, you got Herbert. It's not like you have some slouch quarterback. You're not Aiden O'Connell or freaking Gardner Minshew. So, and I do agree with Anthony. You look at all the stats between Roman and Harbaugh. These guys love to freaking run the football. I mean, all the stats back it up. They have a relationship going back at Stanford. But, yeah, I like McConkey. Palmer, like Anthony brought up, has had chances in the past. I don't see a lot of upside with him. Yes, he's more valuable 3 rounds later, but I love getting Lad McConkey. Does this affect him a little bit now with the Herbert injury? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I still think I love getting Lad in my drafts.
I'll tell you, I'm going to interchange here. You bring up, does Herbert affect? Yeah, it affects, and I'm a Colin Cowherd guy, but Colin says some dumb shit sometimes.
No shit. Yeah.
He said that, yeah, they could win some games with Easton Stick.
Oh, God.
I love Colin. He's an inspiration of mine, but he says some dumbass shit.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you're starting to
weird inspiration, but yeah. Yeah, Colin Cowherd. Yeah, never mind. Nothing I say. Don't say anything at all. Pete, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm on the other side of this for me.
Well, you could be as far as Colin Cowherd, you could be a great host and still have shitty takes. I mean, that's very common.
I don't mind listening to Colin every once in a while.
No, I don't mind it either.
I know what I'm getting. I don't take him too serious. But as far as Lad McConkey, honestly, this is a great conversation to have because we just talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba, and his ADP is the next player behind him. We talk about Josh Palmer, and he's not the flashy, he's not the sexiest guy, but when Mike Williams was out last year, he averaged 4.25 catches and 70 yards per game. Now you remove Keenan Allen out of the equation, and he commanded 7 targets per game with Mike Williams out. I do think he's a nice value. I do think he's a nice wide receiver 3. Where you're getting him in fantasy drafts right now, like obviously I'm not comparing him and saying, give me Josh Palmer at the same ADP as Lad. I would take Josh Palmer because obviously Lad has the more upside. He's a more better player, but Lad brings injuries, right? I mean, he never finished a full season healthy in college, and he already was banged up in the preseason this year. I mean, in training camp, and they barely started hitting. I worry that this is a new offense that could take some time to get figured out. Right now, Justin Herbert is losing time gelling with Lad McConkey and his young wide receivers. The tight end is completely new. Gerald Everett is gone. So you have Kobe Parkinson and Hayden Hurst. Parkinson's he's on the Rams, right? Yeah, he's on the Rams. You have Hayden Hurst and you have Donald Parham. So there's no familiarity with the tight end there except Parham. You have Quentin Johnston and Josh Palmer, the only 2 guys really returning, and the rest of the guys are new guys. You have Brendan Rice, you have Cornelius Johnson, I think his name is, and then you have Lad McConkey. Yes, Lad is talented, but it could take time to develop. And right now, Justin Herbert's doing walkthroughs in a boot. So I worry this is a new system and a new offense. Joshua Palmer is a guy that he's comfortable with, and he threw him the football. 2 years ago, Joshua Palmer had 100 targets in a full season. Like, he's shown us that he can command 100 targets. He's just been overshadowed by 2 players. Mike Williams was a first-round pick. Keenan Allen's been the best receiver,
though. That's why he was getting all those targets.
But he was overshadowed. Anyway.
I get it, but he was overshadowed. I mean, even when those guys weren't hurt, like Keenan Allen has been the best wide receiver that the Chargers have ever had in the history of their team, probably. And Mike Williams is a top 10 pick. I think he went 7. So there's pedigree there. Josh Palmer had to wait his turn. He wasn't that low of a draft pick. I think he was 2nd or 3rd round. So he was 3rd or 4th. Yeah. So he was talented enough to take a chance high on him, and he's commanded it. We've seen him command 100 targets 2 years ago. And last year, when he was the focal point with Keenan Allen still being there, he was still able to command 7 targets a game. Do we expect this offense to throw less? Yes. But for some reason, people think that the Chargers offense is going to be the fucking wing T. They're going to throw the football. Justin Herbert is still Justin fucking Herbert.
College offense in the video game?
Yeah, with Navy's college offense.
I thought it was Army playbook.
I think we overuse this Greg Roman offense. Yes, it's Greg Roman, but can Greg Roman not adjust a little bit? He had Lamar Jackson as his quarterback. Right. It's Justin Herbert. Are they really just not going to throw the football? And that defense is, for what it's worth, it's not that good. So they may have to throw the football by playing from behind a little bit. And their running backs stink. So you know what I mean? So I like Josh Palmer at his value. I've drafted in 2 leagues this year, so maybe I'm biased. I actually have Lad in 1, and I got Josh Palmer in the other. So I have both, but I do like Joshua Palmer at his price. I mean, this is a guy who is familiar and could realistically be the number 1 wide receiver in this offense this year.
Yeah, no, a lot of people like Palmer. I've been taking Shakir in that 10th round. That's the guy I always get, pretty much.
No.
Oh, yeah, I love Shakir.
Anthony, you were smirking a bit. Did you have anything else to give, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I was thinking about the Army playbook that Pete runs in NCAA.
Oh, okay. Loves that shit.
I was going to say me and Pete can make another pizza bet on Lad McConkey versus Josh Palmer, but he's going to be funding my pizzas for a year.
I mean, I'm in that one. I'll take that one. More fantasy points.
Pete, what says you? Oh, Pete's frozen. He'll be with us in a moment.
We can think of it. It's actually would be one of them most fair, closest bets because they're close in ADP. They're both high floor PPR guys.
Chris did say, I think Palmer has been wide receiver 3 for a reason and nearing the edge of the hill. I'd like to believe there's gas left in the tank, but his ability to separate is lacking, in my opinion. That's a fair point, Chris, and good job with that. And Chris, we appreciate all the activity in the chat today.
He's only 24, by the way. He's only 24, so it's not like he's falling off a cliff.
But so you froze. Are you taking a pizza bet with these guys or what?
No, I'm not taking a pizza bet with Josh Palmer. It's about
not even
cost.
A frozen pizza. How about a frozen pizza?
Not a frozen pizza. It's
a
about
Celeste pizza for one.
Yeah, a little Mama Celeste action. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? And by the way, Josh Palmer is like 123, so he's 4 rounds behind Ladd. So it's not like they're that close. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's
they just pretty much spent the first round pick on him on Ladd McConkey. They got him in the top 5 in the second round. So I'm not going to go ahead and do all that. But the point is, I prefer guys. I prefer Christian Watson and Kyler Murray if I've kicked the can on the quarterback over Ladd at that spot. That's kind of how I feel. So